Hi, today we're going to be talking about fonts, something that can create all sorts of emotions. Sometimes some people feel that it's absolutely pointless because it's just a font. Sometimes people can be so overwhelmed when it comes to this topic because there are so many. But I promise you it isn't pointless, and I'm going to today help you not be overwhelmed. My goal is to teach you how to pick the right fonts for your business in under 10 minutes. Hi, I'm Garik Goodell, owner of G Squared Studio, where I help small businesses through digital marketing grow their business by focusing on momentum over perfection. Today, as I said before, we're going to be talking about fonts. We're going to learn about why they're important, what's the difference between fonts, and then how to pick them for your business. Let's dive in. So why are fonts important? Fonts are important because they're how we've communicated for millennia. Yeah, for millennia. They are how we've been communicating via writing things down and or printing presses starting in the 1400s for a long time. The thing now about fonts that is so interesting is that fonts actually evoke emotions. When people look at one font compared to another font, they're going to have different emotional cues. And we want to make sure those emotional cues align with your business and give people the right emotions and right feelings about who your business is and what your business does. So it's important to pick the right font, and there are some basics you need to know before you get started. First, let's talk about serif fonts versus sans serif fonts. These are the two main font categories that you're going to be dealing with when it comes to fonts. The things to know about serif fonts is they were really the original type fonts created. They were created in the 1400s, and they were mainly created to then make it so we could get more words on a page when it came to the printing press. These fonts are called serif fonts because they have serifs on them. And what a serif is those little tabs. See here on this T, it has a little line at the bottom, a little tab, and at the end of the T, it's got the little notches at the end. Those are serifs. That makes it a serif font. Here are some examples of serif fonts and the emotions that people have or personalities that these fonts have. I grabbed this image from visme.co. It's been a great resource for me to help come up with a couple things for this video to streamline this process. It could be a nice extra help for you if you want to dive a little bit deeper. So feel free to check out the link I have down in the description and go to their page. This is not sponsored by them. Now let's talk about sans serif font. Sans meaning without serif. So without serif, sans serif. As you can see from this T here, this T has no little base on it and no little nooks at the end. So it is without serif, a sans serif font. Sans serif fonts were established in the 1800s and were really popularly used when it came to ad copy. So let's dive into some of the other types of fonts you might come across that you might want to have in your options when you're picking your business fonts. Here's a selection of slab serif fonts. Try and say that 5 times fast. That was really hard. Slab serif, selection of slab serif fonts. Blah, it did not work at all. So here's a selection of slab serif fonts. Yes. These fonts are serif fonts. But they have more weight to them. They're a little bit thicker. There's also script fonts. These are the fonts that you can see here that have more of a script look to them or of a cursive look to them. Beyond that, there are decorative fonts. Decorative fonts, as you can see here, are fonts that are decorative. They have more aesthetic interest to them. Can be a little bit harder to read, but can be very visually interesting. And then there are handwritten fonts. These are fonts that look handwritten. These also can have a nice aesthetic appeal to them, look a little bit more casual, but can have a tendency to be a little bit harder to read. There you go. Now you have a greater perspective of the different types of fonts out there. And now you have that, you're thinking, how do I pick the right font for my business? First, I want to show you some examples of how fonts are used on websites. So let's real quick take a look at my website and how I utilize fonts on there to give you an example of how we want to use a title font, a copy font, and an accent font. So the first thing we see here is my title font. This is a font that I chose that is a sans serif font that goes along very well with my branding via it being kind of squared off letters. And it's good at bringing attention and is easy to read. And then I chose also a sans serif font for my copy text as well. I do also have an accent font that I use here and there because I do want to keep my brand very friendly. And so by having this kind of more low-key, a little bit scribbly, like handwritten look, to me, it keeps it friendly and more inviting for people to participate and not think I'm just some stuffy guy, to really know that I like to have fun in my business. Excuse me. Sorry, getting over a cold. So as you can see here, I use the accent font up top as a title font or as a secondary title font. And then I use my main title font here and then my copy font. This is something you want to play with and see how it works on your site. So these are the three main fonts you want to have: is a copy font, a title font, and an accent font. You don't necessarily need an accent font, but it is fun to have. Now we're going to go to Google Fonts. I want to show you what this is like and how you can interact with it to find the right fonts for your business. So if this isn't already opened up, make sure you hit Filters and it gives you this menu over here on the right. Move myself. Boom. So here you can put in some text, which I strongly recommend doing, putting in a power statement, something that relates to your business, or you can just put in your business name. There we go, G Squared Studio. And then you can select between serif fonts, slab serif fonts, sans serif fonts. I'm going to stick with sans serif fonts because I know that that's what I like to use in my business. And then let's also have some display fonts and some handwriting fonts. So by that, it really narrows it down to a couple. Nothing feels right in there. Maybe we'll get rid of display and just look at the handwritten fonts. So this is going to take some time. I know I said under 10 minutes, but I'm just giving you the foundation under 10 minutes. You can run with this knowledge and then utilize it to find the fonts that really speak to you. So spend some time here, take some notes, find the fonts that you are really liking the way they look, liking the way that they speak to your business, liking how they can work in copy and so forth. Then you have one last step to really lock them in. Make sure you got a few options. Let's go to the next step. So this is the last piece. This is really the most important piece. You know some foundational elements about fonts. You also know how you want to use them on a website, and you have some ideas of potential, now that you've spent some time on Google Fonts, you have some ideas of potential title fonts, copy fonts, and an accent font if that's of interest to you. Now, this is a great resource. Go to typescale.com. There'll be a link down in the description. And the first thing you want to do is get rid of this section here, and let's just click this square over here to expand panel. And you can either do landing page or a blog post, whatever you think is going to be more on your website. But I like to do landing page. It gives me a great perspective of how things will work out. So put in that body copy that you found, like for my website, I use Poppins. And then let's put in a heading font. I'm going to pick something different than what I use myself and just try something random, bitter. There you go. So now it gives you the impression of what it's going to look like when you use bitter as your headings font or title font, and you use Poppins as your copy font. This doesn't give you the opportunity to look at an accent font, but really picking these two first foundational fonts is going to be most important. Then you can add the accent font after. So I hope that you found this video helpful. Utilize these tools, find your font, and I hope you have a great day and great success. Cold. I'm pretty sure my nasally voice came through okay.